Welcome to the Cinema Gold podcast. I'm your host, Larry Lease. Today we're giving our review of Superman and Lois, episode 3. Morrissey's a xenophobic has-been. This one line, delivered with deadpan perfection by Alex Garfin's Jordan Kent, pretty much sums up why Superman and Lois episode 3 is so good. Wait, really? Yeah, stay with me for a minute. I love the first two episodes of Superman and Lois. There's no question about that. But there was a slight nagging feeling in the back of my mind that maybe this show was going to be a little too serious for its own good. That maybe in the process of making Jonathan and Jordan Kent as believable as possible and relatable to young audiences as they needed to be, that the show would end up trying just a little too hard. Get a little more wrapped up in its family drama, but with Superman. High concept than it strictly needed to, and maybe forget to lighten up every now and then. I could excuse it in the first two episodes, which play like one feature-length pilot when watched together, and which had a lot of work to do to get us to buy this very different take on the Man of Steel. But I wasn't sure if the tone would sustain over a long stretch of episodes. And then along comes the perks of not being a wallflower, to put those fears at ease, to be absolutely clear. This is absolutely not a drastic change in tone from what has come before. But now that we've gotten to know the Kents and their neighbors and classmates, and that the Smallville setting feels very much like the natural setting of the show, there's a little more fun to be had. No, this isn't suddenly the Flash and Star Labs with a team of folks cracking wise at every opportunity, and it's certainly not my beloved Legends of Tomorrow. But the humor is here. It's subtle, and it works at every opportunity. The opening scene with the family trying to paint the old Kent home is a charmer. A moment broken by Clark hearing a bridge collapsing in China, which he speeds off to save. It's another near cinematic action sequence for this show, but the special effects aren't really what sells the scene. It's the moment of terror to relief, to pure joy of a single fisherman as he really realizes he's witnessing Superman hold up a bridge, and Superman's wordless interaction with him is equally joyful. This is something that simply hasn't been done in live-action interpretations of Superman since the Christopher Reeves years, and I honestly rank those few seconds with Supes and the Fisherman as one of the best screen moments in the character's history. This episode is full of moments like that, even though Tyler Hoechlin once again spends most of his screen time as Clark rather than Superman. But even there, this is certainly his finest performance as the character so far. Bouncing effortlessly between Man of Steel to Clark, the superpowered dad, dealing with problems now even new to him, to Clark, who has to act like there's nothing special about him. I really worry slightly that Elizabeth Tolik's Lois Lane still doesn't quite have enough to do as they build her Morgan Edge investigation through the Smallville Gazette. In every other aspect, moving the family to Smallville has worked, particularly in regards to exploring completely new facets of the Clark-Superman dynamic. But Lois so far feels a little out of place. On the other hand, I should probably be thankful that they aren't trying to do with journalism the way it's so often been portrayed on Supergirl or The Flash. And maybe the slow burn is the more prudent move here. Anyway, it doesn't change the fact that Tulloch is a delight in every scene, and she is quickly becoming the definitive screen Lois for me. But the real highlights for this episode come in the form of Jonathan and Jordan, the two characters I was most skeptical about going into this show. I'll confess, despite some terrific comics by the likes of Peter Tomasi, Patrick Gleason, Dan Jurgens, and others in recent years, I've never been the biggest fan of the Superman as dad concept. I tend to like my Superman stories a little more unencumbered, or what some may consider traditional. But whatever. But Jonathan and Jordan are just so darn likable, and the story being written for them so compelling that I can't really complain. The idea that Jordan would try out for the football team despite his bargaining powers seems a ridiculous one. And I honestly thought that sequence was going to be revealed as a daydream. But it's real, and it doesn't go quite where I thought it would be. Jordan excels at football. As it turns out, he's a bit more powered up than Jarrell suspected last episode. You'd naturally expect this to lead to friction with Jonathan, who is yet to get the hang of his new team. And for a brief period, it does. But then the show does something unexpected. This isn't about football going to Jordan's head, or even about him getting even with the guys who've been bullying him. Instead, it's the first time he's felt part of something. After leveling Sarah Cushing's boyfriend on the field, he offers his hand and apologizes for that awkward kiss at the Schuster Mines. Jonathan, meanwhile, sees the good the team is doing for his brother and advocates for him with Clark, who is understandably annoyed that his son is using his powers to gain an advantage on the football field. I know, this all sounds far weightier than the Morrissey joke I quoted at the start of this, but it all unfolds with a little charm and some surprisingly light touches here and there. Jonathan Jordan reacting to an incredibly awkward moment with Sarah and Lana, Clark overdoing his dorky, eager dad routine, and other little touches that just make this feel like the show is settling into a rhythm with these characters and getting more comfortable being playful. But then there's the ending, as Lois asks, why does Morgan Edge have someone with superpowers working for him? More than one, apparently. Cudmore's mysterious baddie is vaporized by a woman with heat vision named Lar. So far, the formula for Superman and Lois seems to give us a family drama-heavy episode, punctuated by moments of cinematic action, and then to close with a mind-bending, cool reveal. Well, if they insist, who might argue? There's not a ton of DC or Superman Easter eggs in this episode, but here's what I've noticed. The bridge collapse scene does faintly call to mind Superman saving the Golden Gate Bridge during the earthquake in Superman the movie. Tyler Hoechlin finally gets to talk a little baseball on the show before going into acting. He was a baseball prodigy. Cudmore's nameless character is apparently Subject 11, a designation which calls to mind Subject 17, an alien raised by the Soviets to make Superman's life miserable in the incredibly underrated run on the Superman comics. That is all we have for this review of the Superman and Lois Episode 3 review. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Paramount. Check out Paramount Plus and get a first month free by signing up in the link in the description. Also, we'd like to thank Poddex for sponsoring our episode. Visit poddex.com, use promo code TCNS, or Cinema Gold, my bad. Use promo code Cinema Gold for 10% off. Let us know what you thought about this episode. And if you want to support us, you can join our Patreon, patreon.com/cinemagold. Thank you and have a great day.